Captain Aaron Javel sat in the command chair of the colony orbital station Vega 7, staring at the blinking light on his console. The emergency beacon had appeared just minutes ago. A red pulse, slow but insistent, flashed on the holomap of the outer sector. Everyone else in the command room ignored it. The officers were busy with reports, trade schedules, and interstellar logistics. Most of them believed the beacon was a malfunction or a prank, but Aaron knew better. His instincts, honed over 20 years of service, told him that a real danger could be waiting out there. He leaned forward, examining the data. The source of the call was deep in the Vega asteroid belt, a dangerous and sparsely mapped region beyond the colony's usual patrol routes. No one went there unless they had to. Another false alarm, said Commander Lyra, not even glancing at the console. Probably some mining drone lost in the belt. Don't waste your time, Captain. Aaron shook his head. I don't think so, he said calmly. The energy signature is too structured, too deliberate. Something or someone is out there. Lyra frowned. Deliberate or not, it's far too risky. Everyone else thinks so too. She gestured to the crowded command room where officers nodded and returned to their work. I suggest you forget it. But Aaron had already made up his mind. He stood, brushing past their skepticism. His hands moved quickly, preparing his small scout ship, the Falcon's Wing, for departure. It was not the fastest or the strongest vessel in the fleet, but it was nimble, reliable, and equipped for emergencies. He checked the fuel lines, recalibrated the navigation systems, and ran diagnostics on the life support modules. While Aaron worked, his mind wandered. He remembered the stories his grandfather had told him when he was a child. Stories of humans venturing into the unknown, exploring dangerous worlds, and facing threats no one else dared to confront. Those tales had shaped him, taught him that true courage meant acting even when others were too afraid or too distracted to do what was right. By the time the Falcon's Wing's engines hummed softly in readiness, the other officers were watching him silently, some with irritation, some with concern, but no one stopped him. Remember, Captain, Lyra said, her voice tight. If you fail out there, it won't just be your life at risk. The colony can't afford reckless heroics. Aaron nodded without answering. Reckless, perhaps. But brave? Absolutely. The station's airlock opened with a hiss. Aaron's ship slid into the void of space, the colony shrinking behind him into a glittering sphere of light. Ahead lay the unknown, the belt of asteroids, blackness, and danger. He set the course toward the beacon, following its faint pulse through the vast emptiness. As he navigated, he noticed the anomalies in the asteroid field. Large rocks that should have remained on stable orbits were drifting, colliding, or spinning erratically. Smaller fragments floated in unpredictable patterns, some glimmering with unknown energy. It was clear that something or someone had been here recently. Aaron adjusted the shields and thrusters, weaving carefully through the field. Each movement was precise, deliberate. A single collision could tear the Falcon's Wing apart. Yet, despite the danger, there was a thrill in his chest. This was what he had trained for all his life. The moment when instinct, skill, and courage combined to face the unknown. Hours passed, though in space-time felt different. The beacon's signal grew stronger, guiding him deeper into the asteroid belt. Then a strange sight caught his eye. A structure, partially hidden behind a giant rock, reflected the light from a distant sun. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Metallic yet organic in shape, with curves and edges that seemed almost alive. Aaron slowed the ship, scanning the object. What in the universe? He murmured. Sensors showed that the structure emitted a low-energy field, possibly some kind of protective shield, but there was no life sign inside. At least none that his instruments could detect. Caution was necessary, but Aaron's curiosity burned brighter than fear. He piloted the Falcon's Wing closer, careful to stay outside the field's influence. The beacon's signal now came from within that structure. Whoever or whatever had sent it had purposefully led him here. Almost like a trap, he said aloud, half to himself. Yet he pressed on. As he approached, a sudden tremor shook the ship. An asteroid, invisible until the last moment, collided with the Falcon's Wing's shields. Warning lights flashed. Aaron gritted his teeth, correcting the trajectory and stabilizing the ship. The obstacle had been unexpected but not insurmountable. He had survived worse in simulations and missions, though nothing quite like this in real space. Finally, he reached the surface of the mysterious structure. Docking ports opened automatically as if inviting him in. Aaron docked cautiously and suited up for exploration. He stepped into a small airlock, feeling the cold hum of advanced technology vibrating beneath his feet. The interior was dark, lit by a soft, blue glow. Panels along the walls flickered with alien symbols he did not understand, and then a message appeared in holographic form floating before him. The voice was calm, measured, and distinctly human. "Captain Aaron Javel," it said, "you have answered the call that others ignored. You have taken the first step in the trial set by Her Majesty the Queen. Your courage and sense of duty have been noted." Aaron froze. A test by the Queen herself? The enormity of it hit him, but so did a sense of pride. He had acted when others hesitated. He had trusted his instincts, and they had guided him true. The message continued. "Ahead lies a series of trials. They will test your intellect, resolve, and character. You will face choices that define not only your life, but the fate of humanity in this sector. Proceed with caution, Captain, but proceed you must." Aaron took a deep breath and nodded even though no one could see him. He was ready. This was what he had been preparing for his entire life. Stepping deeper into the unknown, he realized something important. Courage was not about ignoring fear. It was about moving forward in spite of it. And in this moment, Aaron knew that he had taken the first step toward proving what humanity could achieve when guided by integrity, wisdom, and bravery. Outside, the Vega asteroid belt stretched endlessly, silent and cold. Inside, Captain Aaron Javel walked toward his first trial, unaware that the Queen's watchful eyes followed every careful step. Humanity's chance to shine was beginning, and he would lead the way. Captain Aaron Javel stood at the entrance of the mysterious station, his hand resting lightly on the rail as he looked around. The walls shimmered faintly, lit by the soft blue glow of the alien technology embedded in the structure. Every surface seemed alive, pulsating as if the station itself was aware of his presence. His instincts told him that this was no ordinary station. It had been designed with purpose, intelligence, and precision. He stepped cautiously forward, boots echoing on the metal floor. The air was breathable yet carried a faint metallic scent. Panels along the walls blinked with symbols and glyphs he did not understand. They were not human, but there was something familiar in their patterns, something that resonated with the logic of human engineering. A low hum filled the corridors, a rhythm almost like a heartbeat. Aaron's hand hovered near his weapon, not out of fear of attack but as a precaution against unknown dangers. The beacon that had drawn him here pulsed softly ahead, guiding him deeper into the station. He reached a junction where 3 hallways stretched in different directions. The signal was strongest to the left, so he took that path. The walls curved slightly, forming a gentle spiral that led downward. As he descended, the corridors widened, revealing glimpses of the station's purpose. Strange machines lined the walls, some with glowing cores, others with panels of light that moved like liquid. Aaron ran scans with his portable device, but much of the technology was beyond his understanding. Then he noticed movement. A shadow flickered at the edge of his vision. He turned quickly, weapon drawn, but saw nothing. Only the hum of the station filled the silence. Aaron exhaled slowly. It was likely just an optical illusion, he told himself. Still, the sensation of being watched was undeniable. Suddenly, a screen on the wall lit up, projecting a holographic map of the station. A single dot pulsed, marking his position and the path ahead. But then another dot appeared, moving toward him. Aaron froze. It was small, fast, and intelligent in its movement. His scanners identified it as a probe, likely controlled remotely. The probe stopped a few meters away and hovered in the air. A voice, calm and neutral, echoed through the corridor. "Welcome, Captain Aaron Javel. You have passed the first stage of observation. Your choice to answer the emergency call demonstrates moral clarity and courage. Proceed, and further tests will measure your adaptability and resourcefulness." Aaron lowered his weapon, curiosity replacing tension. The voice was human, yet it carried authority far beyond any command he had experienced in the colony. He realized this station was designed not only to test physical ability, but intelligence and character. He followed the beacon further, the corridors opening into a massive chamber. The ceiling stretched high above, disappearing into shadow. The floor was smooth, metallic, and clean, reflecting the glow from suspended energy fields. In the center, a pedestal held a sphere of light rotating slowly, casting patterns on the walls. Aaron approached the sphere. His scanners detected no harmful radiation, yet the energy was dense, almost tangible. He reached out cautiously. Mo. Captain Javel moved through the station's new corridor, his steps slow but steady. The lights above glowed softly, showing a path that curved like a spiral into the depths of the structure. His suit's sensors displayed stable air and temperature, but the sense of anticipation in his chest made him feel like every step mattered. He had passed 2 stages already. He was ready for what came next, even though he did not know what it was. He noticed that the walls here were different. In the earlier areas, the panels were covered in alien glyphs and strange machines. Here the walls were smoother, darker, and showed faint reflections of his own image. It was as if the station wanted him to see himself as he truly was. The soft hum of the station grew into a tone, a slow pulse that echoed through the corridor. Aaron tilted his head, listening. It was not random sound. It was almost like music. His visor translated the frequencies and showed a repeating pattern. A code. He realized the station was no longer hiding its intentions. It wanted him to know that a message was coming. At the end of the corridor was a large chamber shaped like a circle. The ceiling rose high above, with a dome of transparent material, showing the asteroid belt beyond. Dozens of small lights floated in the air like stars suspended in place. In the center of the chamber stood a tall, crystal-like pillar glowing with a golden light. Aaron approached carefully. The moment he came within 3 meters, the lights moved, forming a holographic image. A figure appeared before him, tall and regal, with a calm but powerful presence. She wore a crown that glimmered with symbols of both human and alien design. Her face was unmistakably human, yet her eyes shone with a strange depth, as if she could see past his body into his very soul. Captain Aaron Javel, the figure said, her voice clear, soft, but filled with authority. You have come far. You answered the call when others did not. You have crossed the first barriers and shown courage, reason, and patience. Now you will learn why you are here. Aaron straightened, his breath caught in his throat. This was the Queen, not in person but as a holographic presence. He had seen her only from a distance during official broadcasts to the colony. She had always seemed distant, a symbol more than a leader. Yet here, in this strange station, her presence felt real, almost alive. Your Majesty, he said quietly, unsure whether she could hear his voice or if this was only a recording. Why me? Why this test? The Queen's hologram stepped closer, her eyes steady on his. Because leadership cannot be measured by words alone, she said. In times of crisis, many speak of bravery, of duty, and of sacrifice. But when the call comes, when action is required, most look away. They wait for someone else. You did not wait. You acted. That is why you are here. Her words echoed in the chamber, bouncing off the crystal walls. Aaron felt a deep weight settle over him. He had always followed his instincts, always believed in doing the right thing. But he had never imagined that such a simple choice, answering a distress signal, would bring him to this moment. The Queen continued. For centuries, humanity has spread among the stars, building colonies, trading with other species, and learning to live in a universe much larger than itself. But with this growth comes danger. There are forces in the galaxy that do not wish to see humans thrive. There are challenges that cannot be met with weapons alone. We need leaders who can act when others freeze. Leaders who see not just the easy path, but the right one. Aaron absorbed every word. It felt as though the entire station had been built to deliver this message to him. The Queen's hologram shifted, and suddenly the walls of the chamber filled with moving images. He saw ships in battle, alien fleets approaching, colonies under threat. He saw alliances formed and broken, entire systems depending on a single decision made in a single moment. The images were not just history. Some were future projections, simulations of what could come if humanity failed to act. Your test, the Queen said, is not only about you. It is about humanity itself. This station is an ancient structure, older than our colonies, built by a civilization long gone. We discovered it decades ago. We have been using it quietly to identify individuals who can rise beyond their limits. Only a handful have reached this chamber. Fewer still have passed the trials ahead. Aaron stared at the images. His heart pounded. The scale of what he was seeing was enormous. Yet beneath the weight of it, a steady confidence grew inside him. He had survived so far. He could continue. The hologram's eyes softened. You will face 3 more tests, she said. Each one will measure a different part of who you are. One will test your mind. One will test your heart. One will test your ability to lead. You may fail. You may decide to turn back. But if you pass, you will not return to your old life unchanged. Aaron took a deep breath. I understand, he said. His voice sounded calmer than he felt. The Queen raised her hand. Light from the pillar shot out, forming 3 doors on the far side of the chamber. Each door glowed a different color, blue, green, and red. Symbols shimmered above them. Each door leads to a trial, the Queen said. The order is yours to choose. But remember, every choice has weight. Every step is measured. The hologram faded, leaving Aaron alone in the chamber with the 3 doors. For a long moment he stood still, listening to his own breathing echo in the vast space. He studied the doors carefully. The blue door had a soft, calm glow, almost inviting. The green door pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and alive. The red door flickered with a sharper light, as if warning him. Aaron closed his eyes. He had learned something about the station already. Its tests were not about luck, but about the person making the decision. He thought about what the Queen had said. Mind, heart, leadership. Perhaps each door represented one of these. Finally, he chose the blue door. It felt right. Calm. Thoughtful. He believed it would test his mind first. As he stepped toward it, the crystal pillar pulsed once, almost like a nod. The door slid open silently, revealing a long corridor filled with soft blue light. He took one last glance back at the chamber, then stepped through. The corridor beyond was unlike the rest of the station. It felt warmer, quieter, almost like a library. Holographic displays floated in the air, filled with puzzles, numbers, and shifting shapes. He realized this was a test of analysis, reasoning, and focus. The moment Aaron stepped inside, the door behind him vanished. There was no going back. Ahead, the first puzzle formed in front of him. A large, complex pattern of symbols connected by glowing lines. The holographic voice spoke again. Use your mind. See beyond the surface. Only understanding can open the way. Aaron's visor scanned the puzzle, breaking it into smaller parts. He saw a rhythm, a pattern, a hidden symmetry. Slowly, carefully, he began to rearrange the symbols, aligning them by color and shape. Each correct move sent a pulse of light down the lines. Each mistake darkened a segment of the puzzle. He worked steadily, breathing deeply, focusing on the problem instead of the pressure. After several minutes, the pattern clicked into place. The entire display flared with light and dissolved, revealing the next challenge, a corridor filled with shifting platforms and coded messages on the walls. Step by step, puzzle by puzzle, Aaron advanced. Each task was harder than the last, but his confidence grew. This was his element. Thinking under pressure, solving problems no one else could. He remembered his years of training, his days at the academy, and his long hours studying starship systems and alien languages. All of it was preparing him for this moment. Finally, after what felt like hours, he reached a door at the end of the corridor. It opened with a soft hiss, revealing a small chamber lit by golden light. In the center was a console. When he approached, it displayed a single message. You have passed the first of the 3 final trials. Prepare yourself. The next will test not your mind but your heart. Aaron exhaled slowly. He had done it. The Queen's test was only beginning, but he was still standing. He felt tired but stronger, sharper, more aware of his own limits and strengths. He knew the path ahead would be harder. But he also knew something else. Whatever came next, he would face it with the same courage and integrity that had brought him this far. Somewhere, beyond the chamber walls, the Queen watched. And somewhere deep inside, Aaron realized that this test was not just about leadership or survival. It was about proving what humanity could be. Curious, brave, compassionate, and wise. And he intended to prove it. Captain Aaron Javel stood in the small golden chamber, staring at the console that had just announced the next test. He felt his pulse steady in his chest. The first trial of the mind had been difficult but rewarding. He had relied on logic, memory, and careful planning to overcome it. Now the next trial awaited him, and this one would be different. The door ahead slid open with a soft hum. Beyond it was a corridor glowing with warm green light. It felt alive, almost like stepping into a forest instead of a station. The walls were no longer metallic, but lined with smooth surfaces that resembled tree bark. Small motes of light floated in the air like fireflies, drifting lazily in invisible currents. Aaron took a cautious step forward. His boots made no sound on the soft floor. He realized the air here smelled faintly of pine and fresh rain. It reminded him of Earth, though he had never been there. Only stories and holographic images in the academy had shown him Earth's forests and rivers. Heart, he murmured. This must be the Heart Trur. Captain Arin, Javel, and Loon stepped into the golden corridor. It stretched far ahead, wider than any passage they had walked before. The air was warmer and carried a low humming sound, like 1,000 voices whispering at once. Arin could feel the weight of what was coming. This was the last trial. The Queen's test was about to show its full design. Loon walked beside him, still a little weak but stronger than before. Its translucent skin glowed faintly, and small lines of light pulsed along its arms. Arin felt a strange comfort in its presence. He knew he would need every ally he could get. As they moved forward, the corridor opened into an enormous chamber shaped like a circle. High walls rose far above them, disappearing into darkness. In the center of the chamber was a tall platform with steps leading upward. Around it floated dozens of holographic figures, men, women, and alien shapes. Each figure moved as if alive but remained transparent, flickering in shades of blue and white. A voice echoed through the chamber, stronger than before. You have faced the mind. You have faced the heart. Now you face leadership. Leadership is not control. Leadership is not command. It is responsibility. It is choice. Arin straightened his shoulders. I'm ready, he said softly. The voice continued. In this trial, you will guide others. Their survival and success depend on you. Fail them and the path ends. The holographic figures blinked and became solid enough to cast shadows. Arin could now see their faces. A mix of humans and other species, all looking at him with expectant eyes. They seemed confused as if they had just arrived. A console lit up at the base of the steps. Text scrolled across it. Scenario: evacuation of a failing station. Multiple hazards. Limited time. You must guide the group to safety. Each decision shapes their fate. Arin exhaled slowly. A simulation, he muttered, but one that counts. Loon touched his arm. You can do this. You already lead. He nodded, then turned to the group of figures. Listen to me. This station is failing. We need to move quickly but carefully. Stay calm. Follow my directions. The holographic group shifted uneasily but nodded. Arin could feel their fear as if it were real. Maybe, in some way it was. The first hazard appeared immediately. The floor trembled and sections of it fell away, revealing deep pits of glowing energy below. Arin scanned the area, spotting a safe path across platforms that rose and fell at random intervals. Everyone form 2 lines, he ordered. Move across the platforms when I signal. Keep your eyes on me. He jumped first to show the way, his thrusters carrying him to the next platform. Then he gestured to the group. Now! The figures moved, some shaky but trusting. Loon sent small energy pulses to stabilize the platforms, helping them cross. A few stumbled, but Arin caught them by the arm and guided them forward. They reached the other side of the chamber. But the voice spoke again. Leadership is more than guiding. It is deciding who goes first when time runs out. Ahead, 2 doors appeared. One glowed green but flickered weakly. The other glowed red but pulsed strongly. A holographic display showed a countdown timer. Arin understood. The green door led to safety but would close in 30 seconds. The red door would stay open longer but led through more danger. There were too many people to fit through the green door in time. He had to decide who went where. He looked at the group. Some were small and weak. Some looked strong and fast. He felt the weight of their eyes on him. Okay, he said firmly. Those who can run fastest go through the green door. The rest, with me, through the red door. I'll guide you. No one protested. Perhaps they sensed his determination. The fast group ran toward the green door while Arin gathered the slower ones. Loon stayed by his side. The green door closed behind the first group just as the timer hit 0. Arin turned to his own group. We're going through the red door. Stay close. Don't panic. They entered and were immediately faced with shifting corridors filled with moving barriers and bursts of energy. Aaron used every bit of his training to find a safe route, calling out instructions and signaling with his hands. Loon moved ahead to disable traps where possible. At one point, a barrier collapsed behind them, separating two figures from the rest. Aaron spun around, heart pounding. He could keep going with most of the group or go back for the two. Loon, take them forward, he ordered, then leapt back toward the trapped figures. He used his thrusters to wedge open a small gap, pulling them free before the barrier sealed. Move, he shouted, guiding them back to the group. The voice echoed again, quieter now. You risk yourself for the group. This is leadership. They pressed on. The corridor finally opened into a wide space with a glowing lift at the far end. The lift led upward to safety, but the floor between them and the lift cracked apart, creating floating chunks of debris over a dark abyss. Aaron turned to the group. One at a time, I'll go first. He leapt to the first chunk, then helped each figure jump, catching them if they stumbled. His arms ached, his suit's systems strained, but he kept moving. Loon helped by projecting small bridges of light to steady their steps. Finally, everyone reached the lift. Aaron checked them all, no one missing. He stepped in last with Loon. The lift rose slowly, carrying them upward through golden light. When they reached the top, the holographic figures faded away one by one, leaving only Aaron and Loon standing in a small, quiet chamber. The voice returned, softer but filled with warmth. You have shown what leadership means. You guided. You decided. You sacrificed. You inspired trust. Few passed this trial. A pedestal rose from the floor, holding a small, shining emblem shaped like a star. Aaron picked it up. It felt warm in his hands. His visor displayed a message. Final trial complete. Await the Queen's presence. Aaron turned to Loon, his chest rising and falling with relief. We did it. All of it. Loon tilted its head. You led. I followed. But together we proved your strength. Aaron smiled faintly. Not my strength. Humanity's strength. The chamber shifted again, the walls dissolving into starlight. A throne of light appeared at the far end. A figure sat upon it, shrouded in golden radiance, tall, graceful, and powerful. The Queen herself. Aaron felt his heart pound. He had imagined this moment many times, but now it was real. He dropped to one knee instinctively, but the Queen raised a hand. Rise, Captain Aaron Javel, she said, her voice echoing like music. You have passed the tests of mind, heart, and leadership. You answered the call when all others turned away. You stand now as a symbol of what your kind can become. Aaron stood slowly, still holding the emblem. Thank you, Your Majesty. The Queen's gaze shifted to Loon. And you, freed from a prison of time and solitude, you stood with him and aided him. Your presence speaks of unity beyond species. Loon bowed its head. He chose compassion. He chose to help. That is why I followed. The Queen rose from her throne, stepping closer. These trials were not simply for you, Captain Javel. They were for all of humanity. The galaxy is watching. Many doubt your people, but you have shown courage, empathy, and leadership. This is the message they will see. Aaron's throat tightened. What happens now? You will return, the Queen said. But not as you were. You will carry our trust, our knowledge, and our expectations. Humanity will not be alone in the stars. The emblem in his hand glowed brighter. His suit systems flickered, then displayed new codes and signals, access to networks and star charts he had never seen before. The Queen extended a hand. Are you ready to step into your new role? Aaron looked at Loon, then back at the Queen. Yes, he said quietly. I am. The Queen smiled, and the chamber filled with light. Captain Aaron Javel blinked against the brilliant light. The chamber of stars felt endless, yet calm. The Queen's radiance dimmed slightly so he could see her clearly. Her face was serene but strong, her eyes carrying the weight of many lifetimes. Loon stood quietly at his side, glowing softly. Aaron still held the shining emblem from the last trial. It pulsed gently, like a living heart. His suit's systems displayed new signals, new star charts and codes that opened doors to knowledge humanity had never seen. He understood that this was not just a prize, it was a responsibility. The Queen's voice floated across the chamber, warm but powerful. You have answered the call that others ignored. You faced the tests without knowing their end. You acted with mind, with heart, and with leadership. Few beings, human or otherwise, reach this place. Aaron's throat tightened. I only did what I thought was right. That is precisely why you succeeded, she said. She stepped closer, her robes flowing like rivers of light. Many species think humanity is reckless and loud. They think you will bring chaos to the galaxy. But I wanted to see if there was truth beyond the noise. You have shown me that humans can think, feel, and lead. You have shown me that your species can be trusted with the greater path. Aaron listened carefully. Each word felt like a doorway opening. He remembered his training, the long nights on the Academy ship, the whispers about the Queen's secret test. Now here he stood, proof that the test was real. He looked at Lune. I couldn't have done it alone. Lune inclined its head. But you did choose. You did lead. That is the difference. The Queen raised her hand and the starry walls around them changed. Scenes appeared. Planets, stations, ships, and faces of many alien peoples. Some looked friendly, others wary. These are the worlds beyond your charts, she said. Until now they have been closed to humanity. But you will open them. Aaron stared. W.